Today I'm going to talk to you about creating video content on a middle-of-the-road budget, which is exactly what I've got going on in here. Let's talk about it. Hey there, my name is Daniel and welcome to another video on Uscreen Health and Fitness, where we help you make money with your fitness content online. If this is your first time here and you want to learn how to make more money doing what you love with fitness, go ahead and start now by subscribing and clicking the bell so you don't miss anything. As we talked about in part one, it is so important to be able to produce amazing content without killing your budget. While shooting with your smartphone is awesome and the image quality is great, it still really can't beat the cameras that I'm shooting with and that other people are out there shooting with right now. As I said, I've used a ton of equipment over the last 15 or so years, and I've landed with the setup that you're seeing right now. It's served me incredibly well, and I'm positive that it can do the same for you. It's worth mentioning that there are plenty of other options out there in a similar price range. With that said, what matters most is a strong attention to detail and having a compelling vision for what the end result will be. If you're committed and in this for the next few years at a minimum, then here's what I'd recommend for you. I'm currently using the Sony a7 III with a Tamron 28 to 70mm f2.8, which is a full frame lens and full frame camera. Be aware that there are cropped sensor and full frame sensors, and that there are cameras and lenses for each one, and that they go with each other respectively. So be aware of what you're getting yourself into. I went with the a7 III because it's a full frame camera and it shoots video in 1080p at 120 frames per second, which is perfect for buttery smooth slow motion. It also shoots 4K video, and with a full frame camera and 4K, you can actually crop in on the shot without a loss in quality, meaning that I can edit this footage to make it look like I'm using two cameras when I'm in fact using just one. Together, the camera and lens will run you about $2,900. I know that that's a lot and it may not seem like a mid-range budget, but when you stack it up against other cameras like the Canon 1DX Mark II, which goes for $4,000 plus without a lens, then it looks pretty good. Cinema cameras can get even higher than that. Now, as an alternative, you could look at some cropped sensor cameras, as I mentioned in the last video, like the Sony a6400 or its new counterpart, the a6600, which releases soon. They're amazing cameras with a much smaller price tag and generally cheaper lenses. With this though, you can't crop in on the image even when shooting in 4K because the sensor is already cropped, and if you do that, then you'll experience some fuzzy images if you're trying to do that. But you can still get great slow motion and solid 4K image quality at 24 frames per second. In fact, Sony just announced that the Sony a6600 will have a flip-up screen so you can see yourself while you record, which would be incredibly handy if you don't have anyone helping you to shoot. These cameras will still run you $1,000 to $1,300 without a lens, but it's a great alternative if you don't care about the full frame sensor, and I even recommended getting it in part one of this series. If you're looking for a second opinion, Sean Cannell over at Think Media has a great video all about the Sony a6400 and the rest of the equipment that he uses in his studio. You can check that out in the link in the description. It's also worth mentioning that you can find a lot of the gear that I'm mentioning lightly used on eBay or Facebook Marketplace or wherever else, and that will save you some money as well. When in doubt, buy nicer lenses and a slightly cheaper camera body. Lenses will hold their value over time rather than camera bodies, which get updated a bit more frequently. My tripod is a Me Photo. It's good for what it is. It's not amazing, it's not terrible, it's not great. It gets the job done. Another tripod that I've heard amazing things about is from Peak Design, so be sure to check that out as well. I've got a Rode VideoMic Pro Plus, which is about $300, and then a boom pole that holds it in the right position while I'm shooting. As a backup, if it dies, I've also got the Rode wireless lavalier setup, which is also about $300. When you're starting out, you likely just need one or the other and not both. It's recommended to have two forms of audio, generally for professional shoots, in case one dies during recording, so you have a backup. But it's not a must-have. And in your case, a shotgun mic is generally going to be more useful than a lapel mic. I've got these two LED light panels in here. They cost about $100 each on Amazon and are great because they're versatile, pretty easy to transport and move around, and I can easily clip some diffusion or light gels on them if I need to cut the harshness of the light or if I want a different color from my background, like blue. Then I've got my trusty ring light over here in the corner helping me calm down some of the shadows that are inevitable in a room of this size, but I could throw it in a number of places or even clip it to the ceiling as a hair light or a backlight for myself, and that will go for about $99 on Amazon as well. You can go without a light and try to use natural lighting, but for those without experience lighting a scene, it can be tremendously difficult. Yeah, it looks beautiful when it's done right, but it can be really difficult and frustrating to manage. Remember that equipment and video setup is second to providing value to your viewers. That's the #1 most important thing for you to focus on as you create content. You've got everything you need to go out and pick up equipment and get started. But if you missed the first video and you want to learn more about getting started with a limited budget setup, then click here to watch that video now. What's one thing you know now that you didn't before watching this video? Let me know in the comments below. And to learn more about making money with your fitness content online, make sure you subscribe. Thanks so much for watching. I'll see you next time.